Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the disability community.
Yeah, so I am Paige Lasota, and I am currently the lead inclusive employment specialist at Inclusive Networking. I got involved in the disability community early on in my life. I've had family members who are disabled. I've had episodic disabilities myself. I got involved in some special education classrooms as peer educator in high school, and then I went on to college to get a degree in disability studies, kind of with an emphasis on special education, just all the services there are available. And yeah, I that's kind of my background, and um, I'm I'm doing some work with inclusive networking now, and in the past, I've done healthy relationship programming with another organization for people with disabilities. So,
That's great. So tell me a little bit about your role as an employment specialist. What sorts of things do you do in that regard?
yeah, so as an employment specialist at Inclusive Networking, I work with companies, so employers, to become more inclusive in their hiring practices, to hire people with disabilities, mainly intellectual and developmental disabilities. And then we also offer services to individuals, particularly customized employment services like discovery and job development for job seekers with disabilities. So, yeah, we do a lot, but that's mainly what I do in my role.
That's great. So, like, how do you make sure that, people with disabilities, have the resources they need to find, keep, and maintain employment? Because I know it's a lot for some, it's hard for some people. So I'm wondering what kind of tools and strategies you sort of use to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So, all of our work kind of surrounds a strategy called customized employment. And customized employment is a flexible approach to employment that really produces a win win and produces that long term employment so that people um, are really enjoying their job. They are in it for a long time or however long they want to stay in it. And customized employment is recognized by the US Department of Labor as a personalized relationship between employees and employers that really meets the needs of both. So it's a universal strategy that benefits a ton of people, and particularly people with disabilities who maybe haven't found success in other employment strategies. So that's the strategy that we use to really ensure long-term success and make sure that people are truly enjoying their positions and that companies have the support um, to employ people with disabilities. And really, the big idea of customized employment is that we focus on an employer's needs and focus on a job seeker's interests and skills and working conditions. And then we um, merge all these considerations to create a customized position that benefits all. So it's really, really set up for success.
Yeah, that's great. So any stakeholders that you partner with in your efforts with like employment and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, we work with many, many organizations and companies and employers. Um, so the past 2 years, we were actually awarded a grant from the state of Minnesota, the Disability Services Division. So that grant allowed us to partner with some big companies that are based in Minnesota. So we partnered with Boston Scientific, Land O'Lakes, Doran Companies, um, and Hydroflex Inc. and Sunny's Inc. And we worked with these companies to really train their employees and implement the customized employment process in their own companies and departments. Um, and of course, we are a super small company, so we don't support tons of job seekers with disabilities. So we do work with tons of agencies around the state to recruit people with disabilities to get connected to these positions. So we're really working with people from all over and many different services, which is really great.
Mm-hmm. Finally, how can companies and or entities for that matter create an inclusive hiring process where, they include people with disabilities
Mm-hmm.
and people with other backgrounds, what do you guys what the, how can that what needs to happen in that regard?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's huge. I think something that we really encourage in what we do with the customized employment process is, in a way, in some cases, we do eliminate that like interview process. So because we come into a company and we create a customized position based on their needs, um, then we find someone that's going to be a really great fit. But instead of doing a standard interview process that can be very inaccessible, like a job posting on a website where you have to fill out these huge forms and then you might not even be contacted, but if you are, you have to sit through a really, like daunting and sometimes inaccessible interview and all that stuff. So, what we try to do is we kind of shift the process to however it fits the conditions and needs of um, the job seeker. And a lot of the times we will meet with a job seeker and share what the job is about. So instead of, a big written job description, we share photos of some of the tasks and videos of some of the tasks and share about the working environment and just have, a conversation and we can bring people into the company to get a feel for the department and the position and just meet the employees instead of having um, a really unnecessarily uh, daunting interview process. Um, so it's much more customized, individualized. Um, it is structured, but it's more laid back, I think, and just a lot more accessible and um, making sure that we're recruiting from these untapped um, pools of disabled community members from um, transition programs or from agencies or people that reach out looking for a job. So a
Mm-hmm.
long-winded answer, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. It's I get your point. Yeah. Um what sort of impact does your company have on people with disabilities and the community as a whole? I forgot to ask this.
yeah. So yeah, inclusive networking. So, as a whole, we support job seekers with disabilities to find integrated, competitive employment, and we support businesses to diversify their workforce to include more employees with disabilities. And we are an LLC based in Minnesota, founded by Nicole Rabinowitz in 2019. And really, our vision and our mission is we just really believe that people with disabilities deserve employment that is meaningful to their personal interests and their passions um, and integrated in a community setting of comfort and paid competitive wages, paid what they're worth. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.